Welcome to my books and story time by mybooksummary.com. Let's explore. Dale Carnegie opens this seminal work not with abstract theories, but with the palpable reality of human suffering. Worry, he argues, is the silent thief of joy and the great killer of potential. It ruins health, drains happiness, and diminishes success. With his classic style, equal parts storytelling and practical psychology, Carnegie doesn't just lecture us on why worry is harmful. He illuminates how we can actively free ourselves from its grip and reclaim our lives. Drawing from history, psychology, real-life examples, and the lessons of ordinary men and women, Carnegie sets out not merely to inform, but to empower. This is not a theoretical book. It's a deeply personal guide to transformation. The promise is simple but profound. You can live better, happier, more peacefully. Not by changing your circumstances, but by changing the way you think. Part 1. Fundamental facts you should know about worry. In the opening chapters, Carnegie lays the foundation for understanding worry, not as an unavoidable condition, but as a habit that can be recognized, challenged, and unlearned. He begins by exploring a powerful principle borrowed from the military: live in day-tight compartments. It's a metaphor drawn from shipbuilding, where compartments are sealed to prevent flooding from spreading. Carnegie adapts it to the human mind, urging us to focus solely on today, not yesterday, not tomorrow, just today. This idea is deeply liberating. When we live in the present moment, anxiety about future problems loses its hold. Carnegie emphasizes that most people waste their energy fearing problems that never actually occur. Drawing from the wisdom of figures like Sir William Osler, who led a wildly productive life through this principle, Carnegie reveals how much mental clarity and emotional freedom can be found in turning off the future. He also introduces a practical formula. What is the worst that can possibly happen? Instead of avoiding worry, Carnegie suggests confronting it head-on. Acknowledge the worst-case scenario, accept it if necessary, and then calmly work to improve it. This approach converts vague, paralyzing fear into actionable clarity. Instead of spiraling into dread, we are taught to regain power. Part 2. Basic techniques in analyzing worry. Carnegie shifts from mindset to method. Worry thrives in ambiguity, so he gives us a systematic process to dissect problems. The first step? Gather the facts. Most worry, he explains, is based on incomplete or distorted information. Once you have the facts, the fog of emotion begins to lift. From there, we evaluate the facts logically and decide. Indecision feeds worry. Decisive action extinguishes it. To drive the point home, he shares stories of executives and ordinary workers who found peace not through avoidance, but through structured thinking. The power of writing it down, listing facts, options, and outcomes, is repeatedly emphasized. By treating worry like a business decision, we reduce its emotional weight and bring it back into the realm of logic. Carnegie also reminds us that inaction is the breeding ground of worry. The remedy is not perfection, but movement. Once we've analyzed and chosen a course, we must act. Even if we're unsure, even if it's imperfect. Action is the antidote to anxiety. Part 3. How to break the worry habit before it breaks you. This section is the emotional core of the book, where theory meets the messy business of real life. Carnegie provides tool after tool to interrupt the worry habit. He tells us to keep busy, not as a form of denial, but as a strategic defense. When your hands are occupied, your mind cannot spiral into fear. He gives examples of soldiers, widows, and business people who found emotional refuge in purposeful activity. Next, he tackles the habit of criticizing others, which often masks deep internal worry. Carnegie urges readers to develop empathy and perspective. Most people are doing the best they can with what they have. Extending grace to others often opens the door to extending it to ourselves. He also introduces the power of acceptance. Sometimes, life hands us situations we can't change. The loss of a job, a health diagnosis, a heartbreak. Instead of resisting reality, Carnegie teaches us to make peace with it. It is so. It cannot be otherwise. These words, borrowed from ancient Stoic wisdom, are not defeatist, they are freeing. They allow us to stop wasting energy on what cannot be controlled and redirect it to what can. He offers a variety of techniques for dealing with common objections, from price to timing to authority. He teaches how to isolate the real objection. Is that the only thing holding you back? How to empathize without collapsing, and how to redirect the conversation toward value. One of his signature techniques is the question close. When facing resistance, instead of defending or arguing, ask, "If we could handle that to your satisfaction, would you feel comfortable moving forward?" This keeps the conversation flowing and invites collaboration. Hopkins reminds us to stay calm and professional. Many objections are emotional, and if the salesperson becomes emotional too, trust is lost. Objections are opportunities to clarify, reframe, and strengthen your position. Closing the sale, the art of asking for commitment. Closing is the moment of truth, and the part most salespeople fear. Hopkins demystifies it by showing that closing is not a trick or a confrontation. It's the natural outcome of a well-conducted sales conversation. He introduces the concept of mini closes throughout the presentation. Small yeses that pave the way for the final yes. These include questions like, "Does this sound like what you're looking for?" Or, "Can you see how this would solve that issue?" Each yes builds momentum and reduces the pressure at the end. Hopkins shares dozens of closing techniques, from the assumptive close, "When would you like delivery?" to the alternative close, "Would you prefer the blue or the gray model?" But he emphasizes that the best close is always the one that fits the situation and the personality of the prospect. He stresses that closing is not a one-time event. It's a process. If you've listened well, built trust, presented effectively, and handled objections, the close often happens naturally. But you must still ask. The biggest reason sales are lost, Hopkins says, is that the salesperson never asks for the order. He also addresses the fear of rejection. Every no, he says, brings you closer to a yes. Reframe rejection as part of the game, and keep going. After the sale, service, referrals, and repeat business. Great salespeople know that the sale doesn't end when the contract is signed. Hopkins dedicates significant attention to the post-sale process, which is where long-term success is built. Follow-up is not just good manners, it's good business. Hopkins shows how to stay in touch with clients, provide excellent service, and turn one-time buyers into lifelong fans. He teaches the art of asking for referrals, something many salespeople shy away from. But a satisfied customer is your best marketing tool. Hopkins gives scripts and techniques for ethically and effectively requesting introductions. He also covers how to deal with buyer's remorse, how to deliver on promises, and how to upsell without being pushy. Long-term wealth in sales comes not from chasing new clients, but from cultivating deep relationships with existing ones. Time management and goal setting, mastering your calendar. Success in sales requires structure. Hopkins presents a disciplined approach to time management. He urges salespeople to block time for prospecting, presentations, follow-up, learning, and rest. He emphasizes the importance of setting clear, measurable goals, daily, weekly, monthly. Vague hopes don't drive action, but specific targets do. He advocates for a numbers game mentality. Track your calls, appointments, conversions, and income. The more you track, the more you improve. He also teaches how to maintain energy and focus. Burnout is real, and great salespeople must manage their mindset as much as their calendar. Take care of your body, mind, and emotions, because your performance depends on your vitality. The sales champion's mindset. In the final chapters, Hopkins pulls everything together into a philosophy of excellence. The best salespeople, he says, are not the most talented, they are the most consistent. They follow routines, seek feedback, and never stop learning. He celebrates the salesperson's role in society. Every innovation, service, and solution begins with someone who believes enough to sell it. Sales is not manipulation, it's leadership. When done right, it uplifts everyone involved. Hopkins ends with a call to personal greatness. Selling, he says, is the best paid hard work and the worst paid easy work. If you're willing to master the art, study, practice, grow, then no career offers more freedom, income, or fulfillment. Final thoughts. How to master the art of selling is more than a sales manual, it's a life manual. Tom Hopkins delivers a blueprint for confidence, communication, and influence that applies not just to business, but but to relationships, goals, and self-worth. What makes the book so powerful is its blend of psychology, strategy, and heart. Hopkins doesn't just tell you what to do. He shows you how to think, how to feel, and how to become someone who inspires trust and action. In a world where selling is often misunderstood or maligned, Hopkins restores its dignity. To sell well is to serve well. And to master the art of selling is, in many ways, to master the art of living. Stay tuned for more enlightening content. Head over to www.mybooksummery.com. Don't forget to subscribe and share the magic with friends, and let's grow together through the power of books and interesting stories.